Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.
So, on Working Week this week, Rob, we are taking our life in our hands. Are you going to tell them why?
Yeah, because we're on Columbus Street after the schools have
Oh.
kicked out. Yeah, we'll see how far we get. First though, if you've got a business and you fancy tapping into the expertise of the tens of thousands of students in Nottingham, we'll tell you how.
Don't feel scared of approaching us to actually come and promote your opportunities to students.
And talking about setting up business, we'll be talking to the Nottingham organisation that has helped thousands of business startups.
Basically, come in and talk to us, and then we can assess your needs with you and find out which is the best direction to help you in.
And you might remember this, Des, this is the more serious side of the working week. What happens when you don't have work? We'll be hearing from that woman who stopped us in the street who's now homeless.
I slept on a forest recreation ground last night.
I'm Desun Fitzgerald Coleman.
Yeah. Fitzgerald?
Oh yes.
That's very posh,
named
isn't
after JFK.
Oh, how nice, yeah. And I'm Robert Gerard Pittham.
Oh wow.
Named after St. Gerard, the patron saint of pregnant women.
Ain't we the good?
Yeah,
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
That's great.
As soon as the cameraman's laughing, it's
Anyway,
all true.
A prize for you if you spot anybody making a crazy face behind us.
As opposed to crazy faces we make all the way through the programme. Anyway, our first report today is if you've got a business in Nottingham and you've ever wondered how you can use the massive brains of the students that fill this city, well, we can tell you exactly how. They want your attention at Nottingham Trent University, particularly if you run a business in Notts. The uni's on the lookout for companies to join in its job fair, which brings students and employers together.
Don't feel scared of approaching us to actually come and promote your opportunities to students. We're a large organisation, but we are able to cater for all sizes of companies to come in and meet students in lots of different ways, and the Careers Fair is just one way of doing that.
With 28,000 students, NTU's not just a big university, it's a big player in the city's economy. The Hive Business Incubator, for example, helps students and entrepreneurs in Notts to get started. It's produced 500 companies, many of them based here in Nottingham. There's also its programme of work experience for students. These two Trent graduates are working at North Midlands Construction, securing jobs there after spending a year in industry with the firm.
It was a bit of an insight on the industry to understand what was going on. What we were learning in university, it allowed me to see in practice, and we learned how to design certain aspects, for instance, that you saw a picture of, but you didn't really know what you were designing as such. And then on my first summer placement, I went out on site, and most of these things that I was designing were actually being in use.
It gave you a real kind of taste for what it's going to be. Everything from being out on site on cold winter mornings to spending time in the office during the summer when no one is outside. So it kind of gave you the best of both worlds. It gave you a chance to learn a whole array of things that kind of provided me with the necessary skills I needed to finish my degree and then carry on being a civil engineer.
For companies like North Midlands, having a pool of local trained experts is invaluable.
From our point of view, the benefit of having placement students is that we can sort of almost mould them to fit our business, and it's also a chance for us to see what talent's up and coming into the industry, and quite often they'll have different ideas about how things will work, and bring new ideas into the business, which is great for us.
And then there's Thinkubator, where hundreds of students take on challenges from local businesses, helping them with projects that will lead to growth and bringing fresh ideas and thinking to helping their companies grow. And now the latest Careers Fair is another way to tap into that talent pool.
It's a great way just to have conversations with students to actually understand what a student looks like, what skills and attributes they can bring to their organisation. There is no expectation that they will recruit a student at the event, but they're welcome to come along and actually talk to the students and tell them a little bit about their organisation and what they do, and maybe about the up and coming opportunities that they may be able to offer to those students. The students, on the other hand, get the opportunity to meet employers, find out about what they do, understand their brand, and actually explore opportunities with those companies, both for work experience but also for graduate placements, graduate opportunities.
And don't worry if you've missed out on your chance to take part in the fair. They're held regularly throughout the year.
And we've got 5 fairs throughout the year. So we have a graduate and placement fair that runs twice a year, once in October and once in May. We have a science and technology fair for the first time, a property design and construction fair, and finally a law fair. So we have up to 500 employers who will come into the university throughout the year to actually promote their opportunities and talk to students.
So that message was for Nottingham's business community, but what if you actually want to set up in business?
Yeah, well, there's an organisation in the city that's helped thousands of people to do exactly that. And Holly has been along to find out more.
If you're looking to set up a new business but have no idea where to start, a not-for-profit company in Nottingham has opened a new enterprise centre which is here to help.
MBV needed to grow, we needed to expand so that we can help other people. It's a not-for-profit company, so everything's ploughed back into the business. We found a niche over here that it was an old building that really needed some refurbishment, and it's to help the local community as well. We're right on the tram stop, bus stop, train stop, so we're very accessible. We have free parking as well for people.
The centre in Basford helps people start and grow businesses by offering support and advice on things from funding to finance.
We're an enterprise agency. We've been around for about 32 years and we help people start and grow businesses across the East Midlands region. We were established to get people up and running. We concentrate mainly on those start-up businesses, but we also help people with things like accessing funding and finance to grow their business.
The £3.5 million Enterprise Centre was originally a job centre and has been open for around 12 months. There are 38 offices for businesses to use, but MBV also offer a virtual tenancy where businesses can get online support from their homes.
Normally people come to us first of all via our website. We run our training sessions predominantly here at the Enterprise Centre. We have our conference facilities. Our one-to-one sessions with the business advisors, again, available across the East Midlands. Here in Nottingham, it's at Mercury House, or again, in these premises. So people tend to come through the website and they're then booked in for one of those sessions, either with a business advisor or one of those workshops.
NBV help around 700 businesses a year and have seen many grow into multi-million-pound organisations.
Businesses will take a small office, it's a one-person one, they will never grow beyond that depending on what they do. Other persons have moved on from a single office and then taken an admin staff on or taken some more staff on and moved into larger offices. So they're progressing and going up a floor and into larger offices. That's happened with quite a few at the moment, but if they're new businesses, they can come in and we can access and see what other programmes they can go on that will support them and help them to grow as well.
The centre also has lots of facilities available to the public, such as conference rooms, a media suite and a cafe.
Some people come to use our meeting space and our conference space as well because we've got those facilities at both centres. We've got meeting rooms which are free for internals to use and for virtual to use at either site.
MBV already have some businesses at their new centre and your IT department thinks their support has been invaluable.
Well, one of the main struggles we've had is finding a decent office to house the main business in, and with MBV's help it's allowed us to basically go into their new building, new David Lane Enterprise Centre, and have a really spacious office, and we've even divided the office up as well into sections. We've applied for grants and we've won grants, and this has allowed us to purchase expensive equipment that allows us to deliver a really good service to our clients, and utilising their infrastructure and their internet, super fast broadband they've got, allows us to deliver a really quick service to our clients, and without their help we wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, you know as well as Rob and I that we have a lot of laughs on this programme, but sometimes we get serious too.
Yeah, because just recently we were doing exactly what we're doing now, recording a few introductions for the programme, when a woman stopped us, remember Des? Yep, yeah. Who'd lost a job and had become homeless, and she was desperate to tell us her story. Are you living somewhere at the moment?
No, I slept on a forest recreation ground last night.
How come?
Because the homeless place I was in, the YMCA, the people was disturbing me with music. I kept asking the security to ask them to turn it down. They refused to do it, so I started banging doors in temper, and they evicted me because of that.
Where are you sleeping tonight?
I slept on the forest last night. I don't know where I'm sleeping
What's
tonight.
that like?
It's disgusting. I had to go 3 o'clock in the morning. 2 men came up flashing torch in my face on the bench.
And did you say you got a job interview as well?
Yesterday I missed it, yeah. I missed it because of all what's
So how
going
tough is it,
on.
if you're homeless, getting a job?
Well, I've just been made redundant, Nottingham City Council, and since then I was in the births, deaths and marriages, 30-year service, and they made 9 of us redundant, and I've just been left like this on the street.
So what's your plans now then, Tracy?
I haven't really got any. I just want a job, obviously, and get at home.
How do you think then about the system
It's
being...
the government just not interested at all. And the benefits, I'm on £140 a fortnight I get, which is £70 a week. I was paying £40 a rent, so that left me like £50 a week.
What do you say to them that have got nothing left, that are working, and then say, hold on, are the government asking us to pay more so we can support people that aren't working?
Yeah, they
people on
should.
the street?
Well, no, I think that they should give more job opportunities. I know I've done voluntary for 2 years, and that's how I got in the births, deaths and marriages to start with. But no, I just think it's the government. They're just not. They haven't lived off this kind of money what they're giving us, so they don't know what it feels like.
So we heard about them earlier, that wonderful acronym NBV. We'll be looking at a couple of businesses that they've helped.
Yep.
NBV supported me in my early stage, gave me good advice, explained to me, try and keep my funds tight. They directed me in the right route.
And we'll be catching up with the entrepreneur behind the traditional but also quite modern sweet shop, the Treat Kitchen.
We've opened a shop in Leicester and we've got one opening in Derby, so business has gone well this year.
That's it for now. See you after the break.
Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week. Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week.
I played a guy called Lenny for about 4 years. They had me kissing lots of girls.
Another of Des's fans will also be looking at many of the businesses that have been helped by Nottingham's NBV.
It just works for us, hence we are entering our 3rd year of the partnership with NBV.
And sweet teeth, that's not
Sweet
right,
teeth.
is it? Sweet teeth, a sweet tooth seems to be a theme of today. We'll be looking at the guy who set up the Treat Kitchen just around the corner about a year ago to find out how he's getting on.
I don't know about you, but I love pies and I love a good bake-off.
Yeah, I knew you'd somehow get some kind of dodgy pun in there.
What was
Yeah,
that?
I knew it, yeah. But this is a really interesting story, despite Des's introduction. This is a guy who had a market stall in Sneinton, just around the corner, and now has his own factory making cakes and pastries.
It started off from one man's kitchen in Baseford, and now Bake Off and Pie are supplying hundreds of cafes and restaurants in Nottingham with the breads and pastries. And it's all down to the hard work and passion from one baker.
On the baking side, there's just me. I'm lucky enough to have George, who does some driving for me in the mornings, which has meant I can now spend more time actually in the bakery, because before I used to do everything, including the deliveries, but now I can do a bit more product development, which is always good, which is what people want as well. The hours can vary, depends on the orders. I think through the week it's usually about 3 o'clock in the morning starts, but as it gets later on in the week we're talking night shifts then.
The business started 2 years ago after Barry was made redundant. With over 30 years' experience in the baking industry, he noticed a lack of bakeries in Nottingham. He started out with a stall in Sneinton Market that was so successful he decided to take his baking to the next level.
I went round and badgered a few people, and eventually my name people did seem to be finding my name about. So it's kind of built from there. It's a combination of both, you know, going around cold calling, and my reputation, as it seems to be at the moment, seems to sometimes get ahead of me.
It's an early start for a baker. Barry's up and working from 3 in the morning to make sure his breads and pastries are delivered to his customers in time for breakfast.
First we're going to flatten this down so it'll go through the rollers a lot easier.
Yep. So what is this dough going to be eventually?
This is going to be croissants.
Okay.
So, which is a yeasted laminated dough.
And what ingredients go into this dough?
It's flour, salt, sugar, milk, water.
Surprisingly, the bakery is actually kept cold, so that the butter doesn't melt whilst being made into pastry.
This was made about 3 hours ago, and it's been sitting in the fridge, chilling down. And now we're going to roll it out, and we're going to put butter in the middle of it, and we're going to do a technique called laminating, which is putting it through this machine so we can build up the layers of fat on it.
Barry prides himself on using natural ingredients from local suppliers.
I mean, I do use a sort of bakery ingredient supplier, but I'm very, very careful on what I actually get from them. I'm quite picky. I won't use any preservatives, any added improvers, because it's not necessary in the production of bread. I don't understand why bakeries do that. If it's a product I'm not sure of, I always ask to see the specification sheets so I know that it is going to be up to what I want. Supermarket breads will be produced really quickly. Their emphasis is on get it made, get it on the shelves, get it sold. These take a lot longer because you get a lot better product. Theirs again will have a lot of improvers, additives of various kinds, which are just completely unnecessary in good quality bread. People are a lot more interested in things like the sourdough breads these days because it is a slightly better for you bread because of the long fermentation process. It breaks down a lot of the enzymes. So yeah, and I think people are more sort of interested in trying them because they've seen them on programmes like the Great British Bake Off. So yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's made using a natural fermentation process. If you mix flour and water together and leave it, you end up with what they call a starter or a mother dough. It ferments of its own accord. You don't need to put any yeast in it. It's just a longer fermentation process than, say, that one. That could take 14 hours to prove up, whereas that's done ready to go in the oven in about 4 or 5 hours. Well, the biggest plan we've had recently for the future was to actually get the pastry side of things developed, and that's an ongoing process. I've got a certain amount that we put out, but I'm looking to expand that even further. At some point soon, I will probably look to take an apprentice on if we can find somebody that's happy to work the antisocial hours that bakers tend to do, really. It'd be nice to pass my skills on, really, seeing as we don't actually have a college that teaches bakery in Nottingham anymore.
So this company's been running for over 30 years, so let's get back to NBV.
Yeah, we heard about them earlier on. They help people across Nottingham and Nottinghamshire set up in business. We've been talking to some of the companies they've helped get started.
NBV has been helping businesses in Nottingham for over 30 years. It's a not-for-profit organisation that relies on government funding. It's recently opened a new enterprise centre in Basford and is looking for businesses to come and take advantage of their services. Afari Media Limited was founded by Craig and his partner Ben. NBV helped them grow their business from their bedrooms to a team of 11 people.
When we first moved into Mercury House, the previous office that NBV have, there was just myself and Ben, so we were essentially a bedroom business. So myself and Ben used to hook up on video on Google and talk to one another from our own bedrooms. Lots of cornflakes involved in those. And we started to look and realise that we needed to add a first member of staff, and we realised that that would be best served with office space. So we ventured all around Nottingham, and it literally was Ben's idea, last port of call whilst I was in Basford, let's look at NBV. So it was the office space initially. It was priced right for us, and it still is priced right for us. It allows us to grow, and there's also being placed here. We also get to know about other funding opportunities, which for me, and I'm upfront about it, is absolutely critical to business growth for us. If we get help with funding on employment or office space, etc., that's superb. And it just gives you some motivation.
One security firm was so impressed with NBV's advice on marketing and funding that they moved into the new building and they now do the security for it.
My business plan was obviously zero crime, zero loss. My actual business plan was I didn't know how to put one together. NBV supported me in my early stage, gave me good advice, explained to me, try and keep my funds tight instead of investing too highly. Recently they set up a membership group which I'm quite actively involved with one of your particular people, Des. The people that tend to be turning up at those groups to me are entrepreneurs with great ideas but with very little funding or support to get them there. MBV helping me in that principle was that they directed me in the right route. They didn't have to give me great funds. What they basically said at the start is put your plan together, follow a plan, and you may succeed. They can't guarantee you full success, but the plan is that they get their businesses to work together, and by doing that, the whole of the city starts to succeed.
The business now looks after clients ranging from Prince Harry to local charity shops.
My plans are to carry on as zero loss, zero and complete zero crime, to help support our local police force and process, and to grow the most successful security company that this region has ever seen, through honesty and integrity direct down the route. So yes.
And about a year ago, I know you'll remember this, Rob, we met a guy who returned from Australia to Nottingham just to set up business.
Yeah, back to his hometown, looking for a job, decided to set up the Treat Kitchen. We first met Martin Barnett last year when he was just setting up the Treat Kitchen. Martin's Nottingham born but had been living in Australia. When his son was born, he decided to bring his family back to his home city.
Originally, we was going to come home and I was going to continue working as a buyer or a merchandiser for a big retailer, which I've done all my life. But something told me that I wanted to have a go at something myself or try something ourselves. My wife and I talked about it, and we had a good walk around Nottingham, and we decided to couple my buying experience of confectionery with my family heritage, which is also confectionery, and start a sweet shop in Nottingham, which, when you walk around the city centre, there wasn't one. There was Thornton's, and of course there was your Hotel Chocolate. But other than that, the independents, chocolate-wise and sweets-wise, really seem to have left the city centre.
Martin's family has a long history of sweet making in Nottingham. His dad still helps out making the fudge. So setting up the Treat Kitchen seemed a natural idea.
My family have had a confectionery factory in Nottingham for about 120 years now. We actually, from the original business, purchased our sugar-free range, which are made probably a mile from the shop. Bizarrely as well, this shop in 1904 was a Watmouth's confectioners. So 110 years later, we've converted the actual premises back into a sweet shop.
That was his first venture, so how's Martin getting on now? We decided to catch up with him.
We've opened a shop in Leicester and we've got one opening in Derby. So business has gone well this year. It's always difficult to open a new business from scratch with a new idea, and until you open the door, you're not entirely sure whether people like your idea or whether you've done something a bit crazy. So yeah. We're very lucky that we're out on the street an awful lot, and we sample an awful lot to our customers, and when they taste us, they trust us, and then they trust us for when they're gifting to other people. I think everyday confectioners are struggling to make a profit all year round, and I think if you're going to be a confectioner and you're going to adapt to today's market, you have to be a gifting destination as well. So we're very keen to make ourselves available for all forms of gifts, which is where the cash is really.
Can I have one of those bonbons?
Yeah, you're more than welcome. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We've had advice on how to set up a business. If you've got a business, advice on how to use the city student population.
We've had Bake Off and Pie.
Bake Off and Pie, and you remember that, and the Treat Kitchen too.
Yeah.
Talking of which, shall I treat you?
Yeah.
See you next time.
Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.